So I feel like the best ways that I learn is probably the same for me as it is for most other people, which is that it's by taking multiple processes and putting them all together, meaning that I am doing hands-on learning. I am sort of acting out scenarios and paired with the traditional study of reading, writing things down, and then saying them out loud to myself, and studying with other people, other students, where I can kind of go back and forth. I really do love quizzes, particularly quizzes. I mean, I like the written quizzes and stuff too, where there's multiple choice. That's always great. But where I will have my husband or whoever else basically ask a question or prompt me with some sort of a scenario, and then I can sort of talk it out, because then I have a better understanding of what I'm actually recalling versus like on a multiple choice where I'm set up with, here are some possible answers and I choose one from there, which is in a sense recall and understanding, but at the same time, I don't want to say that it's cheating, but it's also, that there's at least one right answer in there, and then I can kind of piece things together. I guess it just sort of kind of gives me more of a clear understanding of how much I do know this topic, versus, the multiple choice. But there were a number of things that Ms. Oakley spoke about in the video that I think almost all of these I actually have done and do. The diffuse mode, okay, so this one, when she was talking about how, you have the focus, and you can do that for so long before it starts to kind of just, your brain starts to kind of shut down. And this is sort of how I have really learned through my schooling with MCU, how my brain works, where I kind of almost think of it as an animal of its own. It kind of tells me when it's ready to take in new information on the level of, like, be it doing an assignment, reading, or studying. My brain does not want to do any of that after, the afternoon time of the day has come. I can do it, but it's so much harder if it's just me sitting down trying to get stuff done or trying to study. If I wake up in the morning, I am so much more alert and my brain is so much more ready to take in new information. I can get things done without having to struggle nearly so much. I feel like I'm fighting my brain if I try to do late in the day, especially after, say, like a day of doing clinic or something. As opposed to like first thing in the morning and just going for it then. Which is why I have found that I do kind of just, I set aside, all right, I look at the calendar for the week and I go, okay, here's where I have morning time. This is where I have morning time to do X, Y, Z as far as school, study, all of that is concerned. And I just get whatever I can get done for that day. And then when I start feeling like my brain doesn't want to do it anymore, or where I've just got to get ready and go do whatever else I have scheduled for that day, then that's it. I don't try to set aside hours and hours and hours, or I'm sorry, I don't try to say, oh, I have to get this done today. I just try to say, okay, today I have this much time at this time frame to get whatever studying assignments and things like that I have to get done. And that seems to work best for me. So that kind of incorporates the sleep that she's talking about, where I'm waking up, I'm refreshed because I have slept. It also, like I said, incorporates that diffuse mode thing where I'm only setting aside a certain amount of time, and then I'm allowing myself to go off and do something else where I give my brain a bit of a break, be it just sitting down and having some food, decompressing on the couch, going outside, also the exercise thing, going for a walk, or just going out and doing other stuff, like I said, like clinic. Space repetition a few times, studying a week and practicing. That is also something that I'm implementing now, where I'm just setting aside at least 20 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week, where I am focusing on studying and working on setting up times to get together with the other students in the class to study and prepare for assessments, prepare for NARM exam, that sort of thing. Like I said, I also love flashcards. I make out flashcards, and I have my husband oftentimes ask me questions, and then I can kind of get that out, as I said before. I like the idea of creating an understanding. This is kind of a big one that I've thought of and understood, but haven't really actively tried to work with, which is, okay, so we know that anemia is associated with preterm labor. Why is that? And kind of getting to know the whys behind the factual information or the textbook information, the why behind it, so that I can build up my understanding of it, so that even if I am presented with information or like a question that maybe I don't necessarily remember, but I have an understanding of it, so I can use my clinical reasoning to come up with the correct answer. And then let's see here. Writing info down, I think I already said that, writing information down and working on recalling it. So instead of just reading it, but write it down. So I'm reading it, I'm writing it down, and I'm working on recalling it, so that I'm working on all of those pieces to make sure that, okay, what parts of this am I actually retaining? Studying with others, as I mentioned before. I also want to have my preceptor start working through scenarios with me, either by just kind of asking me questions while we're in the car together, or actually practicing, a skill or something like that with her there. And she can just kind of give me a prompt similar to, anything else. Let's see here. I think I covered 5 different things. I hope so. I don't want this is already almost an 8-minute long video. And how I would use them is just using them repetitiously throughout the week, each week, until I am sitting down in front of the test and making sure that I am feeding myself well. My husband and a lot of the people that know me in my life, I am very thankful for, because they know that I'm bad at feeding myself. I love food. I like to eat food, but I don't think about food when I should. And when I do think about it, I often put it off because I'm busy doing XYZ and want to finish that before food. And before I know it, it's been hours, and it's this whole entire thing. And so I have people in my life that literally just kind of go, here, you haven't eaten, take this food, and then I will eat it. So I'm very happy and fortunate to have a good support system that makes sure that I'm eating and obviously hydrating. Those are kind of the big things for me, trying to kind of get a good balance of consistent study with all the things that I've mentioned, and downtime, including sleep and just decompressing, so that I can retain the information and not feel like my brain is exploding or protesting against me. Like, we're not putting anything else in here, we're done. I can feel it when my brain does it. And I think that most people have a particular time of day where they are more sharp and where their brain is ready to take in and retain information. And for me, that is the morning time. So here I am at 8 a.m., my time working at school. So it's been working well for me so far, and I'm hoping that it continues to do that for me. I'm guessing it will.